Good morning and welcome to the channel on this the 29th day of June 2026, and it is a Monday. We haven't spoken about the Ukraine for a while, and I thought I'd have a look and update you at the current situation and also what possibilities there are for the war ending. Well, the current situation as of late June, the front lines and fighting in eastern Ukraine. Russia is pushing around the broader fortress belt in Donetsk, but gains are slow and very costly, with much of the 1,200 kilometre front largely stalled, so not much happening there. Crimea and deep strikes. Ukraine is hitting Russian logistics very hard with drones, especially the oil refineries in Krasnodar, energy facilities and bridges in Crimea, causing fuel shortages and disruption on the peninsula and inside Russia. There are a lot of casualties. Ukrainian estimates put Russian personnel losses at well over 1.3 to 1.4 million since February 2022, reflecting extreme attrition for limited territorial gains. That's an awful lot of people dead, and I'm surprised that the Russian people are not up in arms themselves about this. Russia publicly signals it's ready for talks at any time, while simultaneously pressing on militarily and facing internal pressures from hardliners to escalate rather than negotiate. Ukraine and Western states are exploring formats for talks, but there is no real agreement on core issues like territory, security guarantees, or war crimes accountability. There is a wider pressure on Russia. Ukrainian strikes on the energy infrastructure have led to fuel shortages, queues at gas stations and growing economic strain. Western support for Ukraine, arms, training, financial aid continues, with European leaders reaffirming strong backing ahead of NATO meetings. Right, let's have a look at some realistic paths for how it could end. 1. It's ceasefire with frozen lines, most likely in the medium term. What it looks like is that where everybody is at this moment in time, with Russia holding parts of eastern Ukraine and Crimea, a ceasefire or armistice is agreed, but no full peace treaty. Heavy militarization and sporadic violations continue. Well, why is that plausible? Well, Russia is under economic and military strain, but still controls territory and wants to claim a victory. At least Putin wants to claim a victory. Ukraine wants its land back, but may face pressure from some partners to stop the war if the front truly deadlocks and costs keep rising. The time frame, well, very roughly, it could be 1 to 3 years if both sides conclude that further offensives won't significantly change the map. And I think that's the most likely scenario, is that Ukraine will have to give up most of the Donbass. However, if there is a gradual Ukrainian advantage, which could lead to a pressured settlement, continued Ukrainian strikes on logistics, refinery and Crimea erode Russia's ability to sustain the war. Domestic pressure inside Russia grows, economic pain, elite fractures, making the Kremlin more willing to accept a compromise it currently rejects. Time frame for that, well, again, multi-year, depending upon Western support staying strong and Russia's internal resilience weakening. impose settlement after a major shock. Examples of those shocks could be a serious internal crisis in Russia, a large-scale escalation that scares major powers into forcing a deal. Examples, nuclear risk, and that is a risk. The outcome of that would be a rapid, externally brokered agreement with heavy international oversight. This path could end the war, but faster, but with a high danger and instability. Right, so we could also go on to a long war, which would drag on for 5 or more years, which is basically both sides doing what they're doing now and just not stopping. There is no precise prediction that you can make or that I've been able to find out. There are too many variables. Even intelligence agencies with classified data can't reliably forecast when a war like this ends. The most responsible view right now is a short, clean victory for either side is unlikely. A negotiated, messy ceasefire or frozen conflict is the most probable in the medium term, and that's my viewpoint as well. So there we are. That's how we stand with the Ukraine. That's what we're looking forward to in the immediate and long-term future. Let's hope that something happens soon to stop the killing. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.